I don't know what day it is of making a video for seminary as a seminarian student, but I want to give you insight into what my life looks like right now. This whiteboard is covered in the Hebrew alphabet as I'm trying to learn. Actually, let me just show you. As I'm trying to learn the symbols, the alphabet. These are letters, actually, not symbols, letters. What they mean, what they sound like, all that stuff. So, reflection of today. I'm really grateful because, well, if you can see from the last video, I stayed up super, super late trying to get caught up on my reading, and I was really overwhelmed. But I was glad I did that because it did set me up a little bit more for success, even though I was tired. I went into class, and then I scheduled a meeting after class to actually, it was supposed to be a planning meeting, but it turned into ministry. And that's the beauty of doing seminary, is that the professors and the people you're speaking to truly are here because they love the Lord and they love people. And the conversation I had was super fascinating. And literally after that meeting, I wanted to just like right away do a YouTube video for you all, but I had class all day. And the biggest reflection I had, gosh, there's so many things we discussed in seminary today. But probably the most impactful, I think I'm going to talk about two things. I think one, sitting and talking to this amazing human being, professor, I was reminded he had a cup that was available, and it was so I could drink coffee with him and talk, and it said peace. And as I sat down on that chair and sipped that coffee and poured the milk and the sugar and stirred it in the coffee in my peace mug, I could feel my shoulders relax. And as I shared just doing life with a fellow friend, a fellow colleague, a professor, I could feel as I was doing community with somebody, sharing in life, exchanging of stories, not only was I different and being transformed, there were things off of me breaking. And I was remembering that that is a part of the ministry journey, is that we must make sure we are honest with ourselves and with those around us to be in community so that things can break off of us, but so that we can be transformed, which leads me to my second point, which is about stories and relationship. One of the most fascinating things I read in my church history class came from, they were quoting this person who analyzed text, religious text, and he said that the Bible is not merely a religious book of rules, but rather a book that is an invitation for humanity's participation and an exploration of the creation story. He said exploration of the creation story with an invitation to like humanity's invitation into creation and invitation into relationship and into relationship. And it transformed me, like that quote. But then in my later class, we talked about that, how who is the main, if we read the Bible from a story perspective, who's the main character and who's the main instigator or leader. And the truth is, it's a story about God's pursuit of us. But I was thinking about how the Bible and this pursuit, the Lord's pursuit of us, his love for us, God coming down in human form, in a fleshly body for us out of love, is a story of pursuit and of relationship. And I was thinking about how when one is in relationship with somebody, they are transformed. You pick up the dialects, you pick up the tones, you pick up certain words and key phrases, you pick up the story exchange does something to you, which brings me back to the beginning. When we exchange stories or we're in close relationship with others, there is something transformational happening. And I think that that's a part of seminary, is that as you're diving into the Bible, as you're diving into text, as you're diving into people's encounters as to why they believe what they believe, there's a part of you that's transformed, that's being sharpened or developed or asking deeper questions. And so for today, even though seminary had a little bit of struggle because your girl was tired, I was grateful that the thread of the story today was a reminder that we have an invitation in humanity to participate in relationship with others and relationship with Christ so that we may be transformed. Those are my thoughts. So my question is, what do you see God inviting you into? Do you think there's a parts of you that are transformed as you form a relationship with others? And have you formed a relationship with Christ? Because part of forming a relationship with Christ, the evidence is the transformation in you. Just saying. That's all I got for you. Love you, toodles.